And the two gentlemen responsible for the smile in my voice this morning, Raymond Aqua and Malik Abbas Dabo. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Raymond is like, I don't believe this thing that you're saying.
Yes, no.
It was so obvious.
Yeah, clearly.
Please tune in. If you're on Facebook, please tune in Facebook Live. We'll be going live. You can see us and interact with us, and it will be very important for you to see Raymond's red shoes. Not even
Raymond,
the shirt, the red shoes. Yes, very. You don't want to miss it. It's a once in a millennium. Yes, exactly. But hit us with the headlines.
Let's start with the Economic Times anymore. Electronic transactions on the rise. Companies warned not to price in foreign currency and flourishing economy to boost private sector growth. That is according to government.
Suspected cop killer caged in BNI cells. That's on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. But Foreign Minister commissioned passport office in Japan. And there's one about, I'm not involved in flogging incident. The Awin Omaihne charges and accuses police rivals or plot to tarnish his image. And there's one about C4C leads homeopathic hospitals in Ghana. The New Crusading Guide has those stories.
The caging of the suspected cop killers is also on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. 7 Kasua cops killers in quotes, caged. Also on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. I am coming back to fix the mess. Guess who is saying that? Former President John Dramani Mahama. Ali Suraj targets a Situfi South seat. Cop killers church rattled and help expose insurgents. That's the president calling.
And the Finder is reporting this morning 3.3 billion debt reduced by over 1 billion. Outages also dropped by some 20.5%. This is PDS touting this achievement in 4 months. That's on the front page of the Finder. There's another one about the CBG migrating systems onto single platforms and zero seed imports for the year 2019 crop season, the entire year. This according to the Agri Minister.
The Daily Statesman newspaper, a Kumfi Fruits factory completed and ready for commissioning. Police killers charged with murder. Court places main suspects in BNI custody. We appreciate your efforts. That's Malians praise Ekufuado for free SHS. Malians? Oh, that's interesting.
Are they practicing it in Mali or they are for? I don't know. We don't understand.
Mali and coming to Ghana and
or they are thanking him on our behalf.
No, maybe they are trooping to Ghana to enjoy the free SHS.
Okay.
Well,
we don't understand.
Yeah. Now, the Graphic Business is reporting this morning that fuel consumers shortchanged as the Ghana Standards Authority and NPA are aware, but there's no action to stop crime. Now, Ghana poised to reduce carbon emissions is also on the front page, but we are missing import duties target by 20%.
The Chronicle newspaper, Reshuffle Kasua Police, that's Fete Chief. Choose your job or political office. That's the Public Services Commission telling public servants. Dangote Cement, others face court. Face-to-face court over non-payment of rates. Those are the stories on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper.
Let me start from the back page of the Daily Graphic. It says Kokobo to abolish farmers scholarship scheme, and that's on the back page. But on the front page, zebras eat pedestrians, peril in disguise protectors. There's one about GS recruiting new teachers, and yes, the Daily Graphic has a new editor. The political editor has been elevated.
The handsome Bobby Asma.
Yeah, this is a very handsome picture.
Oh, yes, he
Anyone
is.
want to take a look?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a fine man.
Okay, so the Daily Graphic has that particular story on the front page too, together with others that are also talking about what's happening in the country.
Let's go to Kaswa anymore, where 7 of the persons suspected to have played specific roles that led to the killing of the 2 police officers, Sergeant Michael Jamashi and Lance Corporal Lawal Mohammed, have been remanded in various custodies. Now, 3 of them have been remanded in the custody of the Bureau of National Investigations. The rest of the 4 have been remanded in police custody. Now, they have been remanded by a Kaneshie District Court. And this is a district court which is presided over by Rosemond Dodu Ejiri. She's the presiding magistrate at the Kaneshie District Court. Of course, we know that the district court does not have jurisdiction to try these persons for murder. So their pleas were not taken yesterday in court. In fact, the magistrate asked the police officers who are prosecuting whether she should remand them. Yeah. And the police said that she wanted to remand them to Nsawam maximum security prisons so that the police can continue with their investigations. But the police prosecutors argued that no, if they are sent to Nsawam, they have to trek to Nsawam every day as part of their investigations and interrogations. So they pleaded with the magistrate to rather remand 3 of them. And the 3 that they wanted to be remanded in the BNI custody are Eric Kojeduya, who is alleged to be the mastermind of the killings, Isaac Emisa and Ibrahim Zakaria. These 3, according to prosecutors yesterday, led by ASP Sylvester Apia, should be remanded in BNI custody. The magistrate did exactly that. The rest of the 4 have been remanded in police custody. Now, the 7 of them are Eric Kojeduya, I just mentioned him, Isaac Emisa, Ibrahim Zakaria, Isaac Mensa, Oblite Kome, and then Victor Yure Fatau Ahmed. These are the 7 persons who are believed to have, on the 28th August, played various roles that led to the unfortunate killing of the two police officers. They've been remanded to reappear on September 26th, where the case is expected to continue progressing. Now, when the case is recalled and all of the processes are gone through and they are sent to the appropriate court for trial, their pleas would then be taken. They were not represented by lawyers yesterday when the case was called by this Kaneshie District Court.
Now, that's happening in court, but let's stay with this particular case because it was the shooting at Bujumbura that made the Interior Minister do the public and proper announcement. That announcement was to the effect that now all traffic wardens will carry with them guns. As in, they will be in the position to defend themselves and also be wearing the appropriate protective gear so that this incident is not repeated. This is the very directive that many are questioning. First, the Peace Council chair is saying that hasten slowly in your quest to give them the guns because we know that they've not been normally with the guns except they are being deployed to do other duties. If you just give them the guns, they may be like others, trigger happy and kill people needlessly. We know the traffic dealings that we have in this country. Sometimes the drivers can be very stubborn and they ought to be dealt with in a much more professional way. Mindful of the kind of police officers we also have. Some of them, and I have witnessed some before, very drunk on the street and still they are working and they are checking cars and seeking to ensure
that they can be trigger happy.
Yes, that's the point. So to prevent that from happening, please make sure that at least you are convinced that they've been given basic upgraded training so that they can now handle and treat people right on the streets when they are directing traffic and also doing what's right. So you don't just get them shooting anybody at all, mindful of this. But some are also questioning whether or not the directive could have come from a more reflective source. So, for example, the Interior Minister could have actually taken a historical analysis of the police officers who have been shot and when they are being shot. Whether or not they are all or predominantly supposed to be the MTTD department, requiring an urgent action in that particular direction. So that's what people are questioning, that you don't just say, because this is a very terrible incident, it's a terrible incident, and this is one very national and very important incident. You don't just give announcements like that. You need a more evolved response so that the police can be said to be the 21st century scientific policing that we are talking about.
A more evolved response.
I think one of the complaints that people have made is when you see all these MTTD officers wielding AK-47s as if they are on the Tora Bora mountains in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
It does not reflect well on us. At least we give them some nice looking
it's also
shotguns.
It's also a bit intimidating, isn't it? I mean, if you're stopped by the police, for a traffic offense, or you're just stopped, the random checks that they do, and they're holding
or you're
guns.
stopped for the other reason.
Exactly, or you're holding guns, the children in the car. It can be a little bit intimidating because that's not the culture that we're used to.
That the other reason sometimes you negotiate the amount involved. So
yeah, but now
guns,
this kind of elevates their bargaining power. Yes.
You understand the system.
I understand the system.
I am not part
well.
of this your cynical conversations. But let's stay with the Kasua matters there. Now, the chief of Gumua Fete, Nana Aboyamwa II, is commanding the police for what they are doing in respect of the arrest of these shooters and the matters relating to the security in the Kasua area. He, however, believes that the Gomua Fete area in the central region has become the headquarters for these land guards. Yeah, you know, the land guardism has become a big matter. That is the reason why when we were passing the vigilantism bill, we actually made provisions for land guardism in that Vigilantism and Related Offences Act. Now, this chief of Gomuofete is saying the area there has become a headquarters for land guards, and persons who are not even Ghanaian, they have no origins in Ghana, they come from neighboring countries, they live in the area there, they determine who can own what property and who can have rights to your own property. Even when you have your own property, whether or not you can have access to that property, they determine it. And this chief is claiming that they are able to wield that kind of influence in the area because of the reign of terror that they exact in the area, and because of their connections with influential members of the community, particularly the police and some security agencies. He believes that these security officials have stayed in the area for far too long. They've become acclimatized and very bold. They've become conversant with the area. They've become familiar with the people, and they receive expensive gifts from these land guards. This is the reason he believes these persons must be reshuffled out of the Kasua area, and the new persons brought so that the security can be enhanced, so that the people can live in relative peace and quiet and enjoy the peace that they are constitutionally mandated to enjoy.
Right, okay.
Now, there's some terrible news coming from the side of fuel consumers, and this is because there's some investigation that has been done by the graphic business, and that investigation has revealed that 30% of all the pumps, the fuel pumps in the country, they have problems. They are not problems because they are defective ones. They are problems because they were deliberately bought to cheat customers. So this morning, you might have decided that even with a recent increase, you are going to buy 200 cedi worth of fuel. Unknowing to you, even though the guy punched in 200, he could still adjust it with a remote.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll be getting 150 instead of 200.
How do we see that this is happening?
Now, you don't see it, but because some officers within the Ghana Standards Authority have actually been round and actually identified this problem, and yet they believe that the same officers have reported to their bosses, and yet no action is being done about it. Mm-hmm. They suspect that their bosses are somehow in cahoots with the big people who are running the oil marketing companies, and they are virtually siphoning, physically or not virtually, they are physically siphoning fuel from your tank somehow, preventing you from getting the amount you require. So they've increased fuel 5.3638. I saw that on sale when I was coming this morning. You might not necessarily. So one of the things that explains why sometimes you know that when you buy 200 cedi, it gets you to have your tank, and yet at some specific stations, when you buy 200 cedi,
it doesn't quite reach. Yes. Then they'll tell you that, oh, you go as you are driving it to be coming up.
Yeah,
it
doesn't make sense to me.
I'm like, I should go. It will come up where? So what if I did it once? Mm-hmm. There was a filling station on the Oxford Street, and I came back because it wasn't coming up. So I came in, I parked there for like 20 minutes, and I fought with them that the thing wasn't coming up.
The 20 minutes and the fight could have actually got it. But
anyway. No, please, it's a matter of principle.
Yes, I agree.
But apart from that, so you know, another thing that used to happen was when you are not looking, the person that buys before you, if they buy 30 cedis and you are filling up, they won't take it back to zero. They will continue from the 30 cedis.
Wow.
So if you're buying 200, you actually get 170, but they get the 30 cedis cash off of it.
So the report from the graphic business is saying that this has been happening for some time.
I'm not
and
surprised.
The authorities at both the Ghana Standards Authority and the National Petroleum Authority are very much aware of this.
This is a scandal.
They are asking them to fix the problem, because when people get to know about it, they'll become a bit more conscious. They'll be suspecting the people. Even if they're not doing that, it may result in some scuffle like you did with the gentleman at your end. And that is what we want to stop. It comes back to a single point. Why do we have to debate standards in this country all the time? Why do we have to always debate very simple things like standards when we have a standards authority? When the authority we understand in this story is in the known. So, Professor Alex Dodu, we know you are very competent as an individual. Let your competence reflect in your entire institution. We want to see the action that you have done in this particular case, and we understand that some of your officials are aware. In fact, the report is saying that they got the lead from the Standards Authority. So they are pretty much aware of the problem in this case, and yet nobody is fixing
Raymond,
it.
Raymond, do you know one of the things that absolutely shocked me the first time I went to London was I got to the filling station and there was nobody. Attendance there. Yes. And I had to pump the fuel myself. Same thing in the US as well. Yeah. But here we still have attendants at the pumps. And the attendants who are at the pumps, they assume that because you are driving, you are not broke. Meanwhile, some of us are driving and we are broke. So when we are buying the 200 cedis, do you understand? It is supposed to last for a specific number of school runs, a specific number of hospital runs, a specific number of days that it will get you to your job. But there's this culture of, oh, this person is better than me or better off than me, so I will steal from them.
Now, Raymond, when you consider the fact that 49% of the total amount that you pay for fuel is constituted by taxes and levies, and yet you go and you buy fuel and the person there is cheating you, and the person who is supposed to enforce the standards
is
the one who is looking away because they are probably getting their cut, and then you are being cheated, then you know that you have disaster on our hands. But let's go to President John Mahama, who says he's coming back to fix that. All of the mess,
all of the problems, created, including the ones he created as well.
I hope he will face the mess with the fuel pumps adjusting their meters as well, and the calibration not being properly done. Now, he says that the current government, there's a lot of hardship in the system. And this is what he said at Dambai Market in the newly created Oti region. He's undertaking a 2-day tour of the region as part of his campaign to return to the office as President of the Republic of Ghana. He says that things are not going well, and that there are so many things that his government had initiated that were going well. This government is reversing all of that. One of them he cited was the dams. He said his government built 120 dugouts in 2016. The current government he says, are just digging things that do not constitute or do not amount to any dams, but they claim that these are dams that are supposed to enhance agriculture and productivity and all of that. He says if they vote for him, inshallah, he believes that he will come back to office. He will change all of that. He will improve the lives of the people by reversing and cleaning up the mess that is being created.
All right.
Now, can I do power now?
Yes, do power.
Brilliant. Power. Now, the power distribution services, and we do know that yesterday we did that story, that the indication has been given clear that there's a report. There's a report from the investigations, both from the people that went to the US and the people that went to Qatar. They've all come back with a report. The ministry is studying that report. MEDA is reviewing that report. That report this week will get to the President of the Republic of Ghana. But before that, the PDS is acting like the proverbial lizard that jumped from the high Iroko tree and landed and said, if nobody is praising me, I'll praise myself. Now, the PDS has been telling a story within the last 4 months. And the finder caption that's in page 2, in the very last section, Elvis Darko says that 3.3 billion was the debt of the PDS of the ECG when it took over. It has reduced that particular debt by some 1 billion.
Okay.
And that's significant because when they have less debt on their books, they don't actually forward it to you, 1. 2, they don't have to go to the PURC with a debt-laden kind of system. When they go there, the PURC will be compelling them to clear the debt by also making you pay slightly more than you are paid. Or they don't have to force it onto the Energy Sector Levies Act so that indirectly you still get to pay that particular one.
Okay.
Now, their revenue collection has gone up by 4.87%, almost 5%. And we're looking specifically at figures like, watch it, 1.773 was what the ECG was collecting. Now it's been moved up to 1.86 billion in this case. Much of what's also happening is that the outages, the doomsday that used to happen consistently, it has been improved by almost 20% within the period we are talking about. Already, there's been discussions, there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of conversation about whether or not this is reflecting in all homes. Their simple reaction is that it cannot reflect in all homes because when you're talking about outages, it doesn't mean that all outages have ended. It says it's been improved. An improvement in the situation is different from no outages at all.
Yes, indeed.
Of course. And that's also one point that they've been raising. Now, there's also a grouping that's been asking whether they've actually put in some amount of money. And that question really would expect will come from the people who are in charge of giving them stands. So in the last 4 months, were they expected to put in some amount of money? Have they invested? what is resulting in the change that we are seeing currently with the PDS structure? And more importantly, since the 1 month is over, when are we going to finally know that PDS is staying or going?
I guess at the moment we're waiting for MIDA, right? And so by the end of the week, God willing, we would
when
know.
the president gets the reports.
And then he reads it and then analyzes, possibly sets up another committee to review the report.
That has not been contemplated.
Okay, well, we thank God for that. I shouldn't put any ideas in his head.
Okay. There's a very interesting story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. The headline is what kills me. Zebras eat pedestrians. Peril in disguise protectors. Now, according to Seth Bokwe, my friend, everywhere in the world, there are safe parts of the road, which are zebra crossings. And I am touched by this story because right in front of Joy FM here, the zebra crossing is disregarded by drivers who have no regard for your life. They don't care. You can walk on the zebra crossing, they will drive on you. That is what the Daily Graphic is.
They are sometimes discriminatory too. When they see ugly ones, like I won't mention the name now.
And don't
but on the other side,
maybe from personal experience.
When they see other people too, they stop for them
at once. Because sometimes there are some people that if you hit them, it is your car that will spoil, not the human being.
You know, elsewhere when you first travel and you are crossing the road, even when you are walking on the zebra crossing, you are likely to run when you see a vehicle approaching. But it doesn't happen anywhere. The vehicles see you, they stop. Sometimes I had an experience in Germany where the vehicle actually got to the zebra crossing and stopped before I got there to cross the road. And I crossed the road and I turned back, I was looking at the car and I'm like, really?
Yeah. That's how it's done.
Yes.
That's actually how it's done.
Because here, you have to run across the road. That's what graphic
and
is.
And then they'll shout at you that you should hurry up and cross the road.
Yes.
Not before you are coming to walk.
And they will tell you the road is not for your father.
Exactly. Okay. Well, coming up is the online news reviews brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and GOIL. Good energy at Zenith Bank, helping you save time is our priority. Enjoy 3 great instant services at any Zenith Bank branch nationwide, as well as at our Ho and Winneba agencies. Number 1, instant issuance of Visa and MasterCard debit and prepaid cards. Number 2, instant replacement of Visa credit cards. Number 3, instant self-generated electronic pins for instantly issued cards. Make the smart choice. Think speed. Think Zenith. Zenith Bank in your best interest. And make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from GOIL, your 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. GOIL Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you're guaranteed extra quality with our fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of over 360 GOIL service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy GOIL, grow Ghana. GOIL, good energy. GOIL, Yenara Yedia. And My Joy Online is reporting 14 billion Ghana cedis spent on savings and loans sector cleanup. Cocoa Board urges farmers to end child labor and fertilizer smuggling. Local textile companies sidelined in JHS uniform production. And Ghana produced 150,000 tons of food items under planting for jobs last year. This one also says, give them pepper spray and tasers. Expert cautions against arming traffic cops. And we talked about that in the news review. Outrage on Twitter over South African xenophobic attacks. And BBC is reporting ex-Inter player Mariga to vie in Kenyan by-election. The former Inter Milan midfielder McDonald Mariga has been cleared to run in the upcoming Kibra constituency parliamentary by-election in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. We're going to take a few messages. We will be right back.